What is up, everyone? Roy here, and you are listening to the Clemenz with a Z podcast. I'm excited to continue my project of reading poetry that has impacted me profoundly, especially as we get closer to Thanksgiving. Like I said last week, these next couple of weeks I'll be sharing poems that center on gratitude, reminders to slow down, appreciate life, and savor each moment we're given. I'm reading a piece that deeply resonates with me. It's a reflection on freedom, not just the physical freedom that we often take for granted, but the kind of freedom that allows us to grow, to think, and to become. This poem to me feels like a bridge between the past and the present, a reminder of the generations before us, those who lived through darkness and struggle to make our lives possible. It takes me back to a family tree that my aunt once created, a map of our lineage that stretched all the way back to 1518. Now, when I look at that tree, I see the faces and lives of those who came before me, indentured servants, mill workers, parents, and dreamers. Each decision they made, every hardship, every triumph is why I'm here today, speaking to you on this podcast. But with that legacy comes a question. How do we honor it? How do we take the freedom they fought for and use it in a way that matters? The poem reminds me, and I hope that it reminds you, that we owe it to them to appreciate this gift of life, not to waste it, and to use our freedom to explore the depths that they could only dream of. Now, this time of year feels like the perfect moment for us to pause, reflect, and express gratitude, not just for what you have, but for those who made it possible. So, as I share this poem with you, I hope that it sparks something within you too, a sense of awe for where you come from, and a call to action for how you will use this freedom that you have now. So let's dive into this beautiful reflection together. I am one of the free for my ancestors. After centuries of darkness, I am in the light. After centuries in prison, I have been released. I am one of the free, the end of a long line of slaves, mill workers, and miners, strangers to the daylight, sweating in the stale air, deafened by the rattles of looms, lungs filling up with cotton dust, shaking one another to stay awake, because if they fell asleep, they never woke up. And shadows that stalked the underworld, suffocating slowly as they clawed the seams, in a darkness that sweltered with danger. And before them, peasants and serfs, shivering and starving through winter, stooped over plows and scythes, chained to patches of their master's soil through endless stagnant centuries, rounded up like cattle by lords and kings, to fight for scraps of land, leaving their fields and families to rot. Generations haunted by disease and death, traumatized by fear and loss, broken parents burying children, orphan children numbed and scarred, defenseless against a brutal world. A world of possibility shrunk into a tiny dark circle of hell. Souls like rivers, deep and rich, shriveled to muddy pools. Freedom isn't always easy. Too many choices can confuse you. Too much open space can make you feel exposed, like soldiers at the end of a war, unnerved by silence and stillness. You might feel guilty that you don't deserve your freedom. But what can we do but be grateful to them for struggling through those centuries to prise open this window of light, and we can grow to deserve it by using it. We owe it to them not to waste it, to never take it for granted, and always appreciate the fresh air and light and the freedom to be instead of just to do, to stop and look and contemplate, and most of all, the freedom to become, to explore the depths that were closed to them, and let ourselves flow as fast and as far as we can, and try to illuminate the darkness that still fills the lives of others. I want to leave you with this thought. Freedom isn't just a gift, it's a responsibility. The choices we make, the actions we take, and the way we live our lives are all opportunities to honor those who came before us. This poem challenges me, and I hope it challenges you to grow to deserve the freedom we've inherited by using it meaningfully in whatever way you find. So here's my challenge. Think about one way you can use your freedom to make an impact. Maybe it's a small step towards a goal you've been putting off, reaching out to someone who needs support, or even just taking the time to reflect on the sacrifices that brought you here. Whatever it is, don't let the moment pass by. Everyone that came before us endured so much so we could have this life. We're a product of all of that, of everyone who came before us. And the best way to honor them is by living fully, by becoming instead of just doing. So thank you for spending this time with me today, for reflecting, and for being part of this journey. Until next time, take care, stay grateful, and keep growing. Peace.